introduce Shivo sir. And back in 2000, he published a document called Idea Entrepreneurship. And it became quite a talking point among the internet entrepreneurs. Then in 2017, like from entrepreneurship, he jumped to the spiritual life. He founded Quanto Life. And that is the most apt spiritual path, especially in the current chaotic times. We need some guidance, and he's like a lighthouse over there. So his talk is an amalgamation of spiritual as well as intellectual insights, and it's a very transforming path, transforming chaos to creation. So it offers a real unique understanding of the chaotic times and about the processes, how to deal with them nowadays. So he apart from this, he has created many spiritual and invocation processes, and he's an inventor in the field of astrology as well, which is truly amazing. And he's come up with many unique concepts to his credit, like quantum astrology, astro power yantra, yuga cycles. So 50 years consciousness cycle. Wow, the list is amazing, truly amazing. Long list over there. And currently he's writing a book titled Aham Brahmasmi, Be the Cosmic Channel, which will be out in the next few months. And in today's talk, he is taking up synchronicities, channel the space, and he's going to explain some concepts which have been described in the book as well. So I invite you, Shivo sir, to please take over now. Thank you.
So thank you very much for the wonderful introduction. And as you said in my introduction, that Quanto Life is a part of to deal with chaotic times. Chaos is what we all feel around us, isn't it? And in the times of chaos, if there is one thing you are looking for, that is synchronicity. Because when the times were stable, they were not chaotic. You would think something in your mind, and many times it would manifest because future was quite predicted. Things did not change with a rapid pace. But now, when everything is changing with such a rapid pace, how do you how do you live your life? Whatever you thought, this is what I want to do for my life. This is a career I want to choose. But then, you know what? Whatever you thought is not going to happen. So then, it is the synchronicity which becomes very important in such current times. So before I really start to talk on synchronicities, I am inviting everyone to how many of you are aware of the concept of synchronicity? Maybe you can post on chat, yes, or you can just raise your hand if you are aware of.
Can you repeat
it? So are you aware of what is synchronicity? Are you aware? Yes, okay. Are you aware what is synchronicity?
Some extent, yes, sir.
Okay, please. Yes, thank you. Okay. I appreciate the no also.
Yes.
Because then I'm going to explain.
Right.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Can you also write what is your idea of synchronicity? What is synchronicity? How does it work? What is synchronicity? How does it work? If anyone would like to write that also. Okay, there is an experience of everything in sync. Cause equal to effect. Okay, fine. Cause and effect becomes one. Good interpretations. Anyone else want to say something? Oneness you feel. Okay, very good. Okay, so thank you very much. Let me explain what is the crux of synchronicity. So, There is a very, very popular quote, and uh, probably originally it came from a great philosopher, Telhard, but this kind of understanding has been there in uh, Hindu metaphysics for very, very long. And that quote has been repeated by so many masters in so many different ways. So that quote says something like this: we are not a physical being having spiritual experiences, but we are spiritual being having physical experience. I am sure a lot of you have heard it, right? Okay. So this is the crux of synchronicity. To live life is occurrence of meaningful coincidences that seem to have no cause. That is, the coincidences are a causal. The underlying idea is there is unity in diversity. Thank you very much. Okay, okay. Am I not audible? Hello.
Yeah, audible, sir.
Uh,
Only a little loud.
I think I dropped out. So I'm sure you'll join in now. So
Sorry, I dropped out.
yes.
So now this you have heard this quote on spirit. Now there is one more thing I would like to say. That in English we call it spiritual journey, but you would know that in Hindi the word is adhyatma, atma ki or. And let me tell you, I love the word atma much more because spirit and atma is soul, and soul and spirit are different. So it is very, very important to understand what is the difference between the soul and spirit. So the soul is the pure one. And when that soul was having the human experiences, it also attracted accumulated karma. And that soul with karma in it, that became spirit. Yeah. So the adhyatmic means you are moving towards soul. So basically, the journey is from spirit to the soul. So that is what the whole crux is. Now, what is the soul experience? Okay. Now, the soul experience has been very beautifully described by Einstein also and Krishna in Gita also. So, what Einstein says, every object is spatially extended. That means every object exists in whole space. He said only this is possible. And he's saying this based on his mathematical calculations on um, theory of relativity. So let's say there is a chair in the room. It appears to you that chair is in the room, but actually the chair is in the whole space. Okay. Now, now there are scientifically explanations of what is soul. So we all have this body and we have this electromagnetic field. And as you know, the electromagnetic field does not have boundary. It is spread all across, all over. So that is what the soul experience is. Our soul is spread all across the space. Okay. So that is what the soul is. And it has been very beautifully described by Krishna in Gita, where he says that a wise human is the one who knows that my roots are in the space and the leaves are the knowledge and the fruits are on the body. So we normally think of the tree, which is like upside, right? And like which is moving up from down to up. But Krishna describes human beings, and Kabir also has described the same way. He describes human being as the one who are hanging upside down. Your roots are in the space, and you are hanging towards the earth. So when you understand that, that is when you begin to access the synchronicity. If you are this body, you will never experience synchronicity with your mind, because your mind is very limited. You will keep like, see, the synchronicity happens when there is something which is planned not by you but by cosmos, and that is downloaded on you. For that, the cosmos has all the plans. You keep listening, it will keep telling, giving the clue. But if your plans are coming from your own identity, it will face a lot of obstacles, and that's not an experience of synchronicity. So there is, cosmos has planned something for you. It descends on you, and when you follow that, that's where the synchronicity is. So when you are soulful, that's when you are downloading what life has planned for you. So I'm just recalling, there is one very beautiful quote by Eckhart Tolle, which says something like, uh, instead of asking something from life, listen to what life wants from you. And that's a real empowered living, listening to what life wants from you. So how do we listen what life wants from us? So as I explained, that spirit is soul and the karma within. So let me explain the vibrational structures of the soul and the karma. Karma are always the bounded, concentrated vibrations, which you will feel inside your body and also outside in your aura. But the karma always exists in the form of bounded vibrations. And the soul exists in the unbounded form. There are no boundaries to the soul. So the whole journey, when we say that whole journey of dissolving karma, of moving from spirit to soul, is basically the journey from bounded vibrations to unbounded vibrations. Now, what are those bounded vibrations basically? We call them karma. We also call them identity. Now, identity is something that has been talked a lot about. A lot of psychologists all over the world, how the identity is formed. Identity is always formed in the moments which you were not able to accept, the moments you could not live, and you had to develop a strategy to deal with those situations. Let me give you a clear example. It's a very small example, and a lot of psychologists say, and probably they all agree also, that the seed of identity happens in this life around the age of 5. Though I would say my experience, also a lot of other people's experience is that it's not that the identity is created at the age of 5. Identity has been created long back in your past life. It gets triggered at the age of 5. So let me give you an example. What happens, let's say, at the age of 5? So your father brings two balloons. One is red, one is blue. He gave the red one to you and blue to your sister. But actually, you wanted blue. Okay. Now what happens? Now you have a very constricted, restricted understanding. So you make an interpretation. Father don't like me. He likes sister. Okay. Now you are struggling with, how do I deal with this situation that my father don't like me? So now there are two strategies you will develop in this. And everybody has got identity. I have explained in the book also. Identity always exists in pairs, the pairs of paradoxes. Two opposite identities together make one complete identity. So you will develop two contradictory identities. Either some of them will majorly go on the identity. What? So what if my father don't like you? I don't care. I will live my own life. I will create my own life. And he's the one who becomes a rebel. So this is identity. Other one says, oh my God, my father don't like me. So I have to appease him to get his love so that he loves me in future. Right? Do you see, these are two opposite identities, but they are part of the same identity. All of us have got those pairs of identities, and all of us have got some or other identity. right? Which is our core identity. On that, there are also many more identities. Okay. So now the question is, now one psychologist say that subconscious, now identity, the all identities put together in our subconscious. So they say that subconscious uh, is far, far bigger than conscious. Some of them say 10 times bigger, some say 100 times bigger, some say 1,000 times bigger, but they all agree that subconscious is much bigger than conscious. And I had been thinking that why is that? How did that happen? Why did subconscious become bigger than conscious? And when I was doing my research on yoga cycles, I'm sorry, my throat seems doesn't seem to be okay right now. So when I was doing my research on yoga cycles, I had this huge realization. And this realization was then substantiated by my own remembrance of my past lives and the whole journey I had. And there are so many people in Quanto Life. We recall, remember their past lives and the journeys they had. There is a huge realization I had. And the huge realization was that all of us existed. So, Yuga cycle, according to the Yuga cycle, every Yuga cycle is of 24,000 years. And Yuga cycle, you know, Satyuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, Kali Yuga. And now we are again in Dwapar Yuga. We are now ascending. Dwapar Yuga has already come. I've already given talks on that. Uh, I've done a lot of scientific uh, as well as little bit of scriptural study and how the society is moving around us. So I'm very clear we are in Dwapar Yuga. So what happened that we all existed even in Satyuga. In Satyuga, so what are the Yuga cycles basically? Why the things are great in Satyuga? Because the consciousness is very high. And what is the meaning of consciousness very high means the electromagnetic field of the earth and the solar system is very high. And it has also been discovered scientifically that this is true. 12,000 years back, the electromagnetic field was exceptionally high. So when the electromagnetic field is very high, there are synchronicities all around. It's like you feel that this is the what I need from nature as my food, and nature gives you. This is the ultimate synchronicity, right? So, whatever you wish, first thing, the wish you have is always a divine wish. You are in such high conscious, and it is automatically getting fulfilled. So, it's not that you work, but you just play. So, that is the synchronicity that happens in Satyuga. So, now what happens is we live those very high conscious lives, and then the consciousness started to decline. So, our consciousness experience also started to decline, and in such a low conscious period, whatever was our consciousness that turned into identity. And I will, all of us have developed identities in that way. And here I am also inviting you. A lot of you have gone through, must have gone through your own past life journeys. I'm really inviting you to look into. You will find a certain seed. Okay, the seed of identity was sown somewhere in Dwapar Yuga, Treta Yuga, 8,000, 10,000 years back. That was a pure identity. Before that, you were a pure soul. And then the identity happened. And that identity also started to attract lots of other identities. So it's not we have one identity, but we have one core identity. And the moment you will identify what's your core identity, all this identity business begin to dissolve, your karma begin to dissolve, and you take a leap, and then there are all kind of synchronicity. Your life is just full of synchronicity all the time. So when I looked into my own journey, I came across a very fierce life of myself, which was somewhere like 8,000, 9,000 years back. And that was a huge repression by power, by father. And so for 2 years, I kept asking this question: why did this life come to me? Is it that I had a very bad karma, so I had to take that life? Or I had gone through some fierce journey, something I've done to others? For 2 years, I asked this question. And then I was shown a life just before that. And in that life, I saw myself as a very pure, very innocent, very trusting, very surrendered being. So that became very clear to me that before that life, I was in that state of Aham Brahmasmi. I was one with God. And then I had a realization that that life I was invited into. I was invited into that kind of a challenge because every soul longs to evolve, and to evolve, it has to accept challenges. I was given the challenge of dealing with extremely repressive power, extremely repressive power. So even though I was a pure being, the, the kind of atrocity I had to face, they were so huge that that made a dent, and that was the seed of identity. And I looked at the lives after that, many, many lives for 8,000, 9,000 years. There is this common thread. Either I am facing repressive power, very repressive fathers, or I am with someone who is very, very powerful, and I'm trying to understand what is power. In many lives, I am a very, very powerful person, right? So there also I'm exploring power. So exploring power was the crux, and repression by power. And because there was a repression by power, I would also become powerful. In so many lives, there would be life of kings. So there was one common theme: understand power. And in this life, what happened? So there was an enlightenment through Vishuddhi Chakra before. So in so many of lives of the lives, I also saw that I was a very strong Vishuddhi Chakra person, bringing Vedas, bringing a lot of Shastras or lot of knowledge. Uh, so that was the enlightenment part, but there was also identity part. Both were moving hand in hand. And in this life, that identity part just dissolved. That journey got over. Journey, it was a very tumultuous, extremely difficult, challenging journey in this life. But that seed, which was sown 8,000, 9,000 years back, got dissolved. It merged. The bounded vibration turned into unbounded vibration. Now that is the journey of the spirit. That is the spiritual journey. So the point is, how does that process happen? How does our identity dissolve? And there is only one way for identity to dissolve, and that is observation. Now, what is observation? Observation is to become aware of yourself as space, that I am space. Okay. So you have those bounded vibrations which are extending in your aura, and you also have unbounded vibrations of soul. Now those bounded vibrations, their boundaries dissolve and they begin to merge into soul. And this is enlightenment. When your bounded vibration will merge into the unbounded, that is enlightenment. Okay. That's where you are becoming one. That's what is the experience of Aham Brahmasmi. So what has to happen is the experience of space. You are grounding in space. More you keep getting grounded in space, identities begin to dissolve. But before that process really begin to happen, you have to become constantly aware of your identities through interactions, through playing the game of life. When you become aware, you also observe and let everything dissolve. But at some point, the crux becomes the awareness of space. And now, what is the awareness of space? Let me tell you the ways to cultivate the space. So just look around anywhere. Just look wherever you are sitting. There is some object, right? What do you see there? There is an object, right? But become aware there is a space around. That is the first observation. That's how you will also become aware that I have this body, but there is a space around. Can you just move and feel the space? Can you just move your tongue a little bit inside? You will feel that space. You will feel that strong electromagnetic field, right? So your identity will dissolve in that space. So first point is to become aware of the space around every object. To become aware that between two objects there is space. And then to become aware that it's not that there is space around the object, but that object exists in the space. And then the third stage is that the space is manifesting as the objects. The reality is space. Reality is not the physical objects. That's what Einstein said. That every object is the manifestation of how it exists in space. So this is everything is about the space awareness. Now let me just explain how does the synchronicities happen. So for example, let's say you are facing a big crisis. You are trying very hard to find solutions and do this and do that, and nothing works. And you tried one solution, and there is an interruption that comes, and then somebody puts in some, some there's something frustrating, and somebody obstructed what you wanted to do. Right? That is something which is opposite of synchronicity. This is because it is your bounded vibrations, the identity that is driving you. So identity is always at conflict with others' identities. How do you experience synchronicity here? Now, if you are in a crisis situation, I'm inviting you to close your eyes, feel the crisis. Okay, so let me just invoke the quantum vibrational field also. So quantum is a vibrational field which exists all around us, and you can invoke it anytime, and you will begin to have experience of space. So I will say the word quantum thrice, and I also invite you to repeat, and then you will have the experience of quantum vibrational field. Quantum, quantum, quantum. Experience there is a vibrations all around you. There is a vibrational field which is touching you, which is entering your body, which is caressing you. Keep experiencing this. Now feel the crisis you are in. Something you are trying to resolve. You are trying very hard but not happening. We call that crisis. That crisis is stored within your body in the forms of vibrations. These vibrations are not just inside your body but also outside in your aura. The bounded vibrations, these vibrations have got boundaries. You could feel this vibration in the form of heaviness, in the form of wall, in the form of piercing, in the form of hurt, blackness, numbness, whatever. There are so many forms of vibration. Just become aware of that. Now feel the space around you and let go of these bounded vibrations, the vibrations of your presence. Just say I surrender. And you will feel these bounded vibrations are beginning to dissolve in space. At some stage, you will feel. So there is a stage where the vibrations are moving out and merging in the space. And then the stage comes where the vibrations begin to move reverse. They start to move from space to inside you. Now, this is the cosmic channeling. This is the cosmic guidance. So you presented your crisis to Cosmos. That got dissolved in Cosmos, and Cosmos is now guiding you about your next step. Let these vibrations enter you, settle in you fully. You can say thanks to Cosmos and open your eyes. So this is the process of developing synchronicity. This is a process of receiving guidance on everything. This could be guidance on a crisis or something, a new creative possibility in your life. If the creative possibility descends from cosmos, that is what really grows effortlessly in your life. If your mind has created that creative possibility, at every step, you are bound to face the resistance by other identities. But if it is channeled, everything is easy because that is something that was there in cosmos and your frequency matched with that. It downloaded on you. Now that's what you are living. So cosmos is supporting all the time. So this is what the synchronicity is. So I would invite if anybody has any guidance, if anybody has any questions.
Thank you so much, Shivo, sir. That was amazing. Really, a deep connection you could feel that yes, there is something beyond. So, yes, Ed, would you like to ask any questions?
Or anybody would like to share any experience if they
Yeah,
have any
yes,
experience.
Vinay. Yes,
So by
Vinay,
the way,
would like to say.
Just one experience
by the
about.
way, in my book Aham Brahmasmi, Be the Cosmic Channel, I have described this process in great depth and detail.
Wow.
So this is going to be a book which could be maybe around 300, 400 pages, and it is a very deep exploration of the synchronicity. Yeah, please.
There's no question because I think this is the space where the questions are dissolved, and I felt really connected. And so, what I can experience synchronicity through my heart is that, like, really connected to the source. I don't know whether I'm
So
right in assuming it. Yeah,
that's what the synchronicity is, to connecting to the source.
thank you.
Thank you, Vinay. Yes, Nupurji. Yeah.
I would like to ask Dr. Shivo, only thing that when you started meditation, and I didn't want to come out, though I'm a meditator myself, but the way you just smoothly you let the meditation flow and reach to the heights, that was amazing. And I felt all the uh, restlessness gone away, all the peacefulness and calmness come under me, and I was feeling very relaxed. Though I was bit, little bit tense about the program, about the people, about everything, but it went just vanished. So thank you very much for the meditation, and it was really very enlightening for me also, because it is a different form in a different way, but leads to the same source.
Right.
So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Nupurji. And if you wish, you are welcome to experience the quantum processes at a deeper depth, or maybe uh, the book I'm talking about is very experiential. It's not theoretical, conceptual, but very experiential. So I'm sure you would love reading the book, and I'm planning some kind of a structure where it is not just that the people get the book and read, but they can also come together in groups and have a lot of experiential journey. So, so that the book is turned into an experience, not like a theoretical concept. So you are welcome for uh, these deep spiritual experiences.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
I will definitely go through your book and
Looking forward
will
to it.
share my experiences. Thank you so much. Namaste.
Namaste.
Anyone else would like to ask anything? Any questions? So as Vinay has said, you seem to have dissolved all those questions also. All boundaries have vanished.
Yes, so questions are important, but the point is we don't get the answers the way we think from the past existing knowledge.
Yes, yes,
Answers, the deepest answer to our questions comes from unknown, and that unknown source opens to you when you surrender your questions.
There's
So
one
you have
question.
the questions,
yes.
so you have the question and you surrender it. That's how all the greatest knowledge comes to the world. If you ask me how the theory of relativity came, this is how it came.
Two questions. True.
Yeah, please.
Agnostus Theos has a question to ask. Please unmute, sir. Nupuji, I think you will have to ask him to unmute. Yeah, he's done it. Yes, please. If you could like to come on camera, sir.
Thank you, Jayaji, for posting all the messages and
Yes, she's
the
been
facts of the
very
talk.
diligent about it. It's really amazing.
Thank you so much.
Yes, Agnostus, if you would like to ask a question.
Hello.
Yes,
Yes.
Yes,
Hi.
yes.
yes, please.
Should I go, or the other gentleman is going to ask?
No, please, Agnostus, please go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you. The question is that, we were talking about these lives over a period of 8,000, 9,000 years. So according to this current philosophy that we are talking about, how does one get out of that circle of life, and how does, we, from my understanding, the whole idea is to eventually become one with God. And you shared an experience wherein you said that you were one with God, and then you came back into these different lives. My goal for this life is to just, get out of this circle of life. So how does, according to you and this philosophy that we're talking about,
There
how
is
does one...
only one way, and that is to become aware of your identity. Okay, so it will begin by becoming aware of one little identity, another little identity, another little identity. When these small identities begin to dissolve, and how they dissolve, first become aware, then to observe vibrationally, and everything begin to dissolve in space. Slowly you will start to move inward, 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 and at some point you will arrive at your core identity. And when that core identity goes, that's when you become one with God. Am I making sense? I know it's a very experiential thing, but I hope conceptually also it makes sense.
It's a
See,
new concept to
there
me.
are seven bodies. There are seven bodies. Okay, a lot of people have talked about seven bodies. The fifth body out of that. Okay, so there is a physical body, there is an energy body, there is an emotional body, then there is a causal body, and then there is a soul body. That is the fifth body. So what is causal body? Causal body is the vibrations, the bounded vibrations. Okay, that is causal body, the fourth body. Fifth body, soul body, is the unbounded vibration. Okay, so once you have come to the causal body, the vibrational origin of everything. Okay, once you become aware that this is what string theory says. Vibration is cause of everything in the world. It's your vibration that attracts the world you live in. Okay, once you come to the vibrations, you will, and you become observer to that. Those vibrations of fourth body will begin to merge in the fifth body, and that is the experience of soul. That's when you experience Aham Brahmasmi. After that, there are six and seven body. I am not going into that. But Aham Brahmasmi is the experience of fifth body. And if you begin to experience your fourth body, means your identity in the form of vibrations, observe, and it will just dissolve into the fifth body.
Thank you.
It's a simple, once you understand, once you get into it, you will realize it's so simple to dissolve all the time. So simple.
Thank you. I need to learn
You
more.
have to
And
just convert everything into vibrational experience and observe that, let it dissolve in the fifth body. That's it.
I think we'll have to keep coming back to watch this session again and again to absorb it all. It cannot be absorbed in one go. Thank you so much, Shivo sir. I think Uday Bhanji wanted to ask a question. Yes, Uday ji.
Sir, what is this quanto means?
So, Quanto, now we are in the era of quantum sciences. It's a quantum era. The what is quantum era basically? What does quantum say? That this world is of probability. There is nothing fixed. Only thing you know is this moment. And all the future is created based on at what frequency you are. Whatever is your frequency, there are so many possibilities, probabilities. And one of that probability is going to happen for you based on at what frequency you are vibrating, what is your electromagnetic field. So basically, the quantum science gives highest value or the utmost value only to one thing. That is the observation. When you observe a wave, it will turn into a particle. Okay. So when you begin to observe the space, it will begin to manifest automatically. No affirmations needed, no visualization needed, nothing. Only observation.
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
So,
Uday ji, for the
so
question.
it is a science.
It's a science, but science and spirituality are one. I mean, life is one, isn't it? You can explore it scientifically, you can explore it spiritually. When there is a spiritual concept that has descended, and when there is the evidence of that has come, that becomes a science, isn't it? There's no conflict between science and spirituality. No conflict at all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Kim would like to say something, ask something. Kim,
Yeah. Yes, please.
Hello. I didn't have a question so much as in hearing your talk, my question was, how do I know, when it's the universe or when it's synchronicity? And so I got that from your talk in relationship to the core identity, right, or my thoughts, my mind, which for me, I've been trained academically, professionally, in my career path to think, right, from a cognitive perspective. So my thinking mind always wants to resist this concept that the answer isn't up here, So I've definitely, for those people that don't have an experience of this, it's been something I've been practicing for some time. And it's a practice, but once you start, like you said, once you start having the experience of trusting the universe or having synchronicity or having freedom or alignment, you're like, oh, right? Like you feel it, you experience it. And now it becomes not how do I get that? It's just how do I make the difference between what's that? It's easy. It feels good. It's in alignment. It's fun. It's joyful. And my mind will want to go, well, it shouldn't be that easy. right? It shouldn't be that.
It's very easy. When you will understand, when you will have this experience of Aham Brahmasmi, I am God, you will realize life is utterly simple.
Yeah. Yes. And then when you
But
have
see,
that,
so for an intellectual to reach there, the path is that you reach the limits of I know. You would realize that if you keep analyzing, there is a limit to what you know. And beyond that is I don't know. Right? So when you reach that boundary, the extreme of what you know, and then you don't have the answers. One thing is you can keep pretending, I have the answers, I will get the answers. Another thing is say, Cosmos, I have explored, I don't have the answer. And see the magic. That is the moment of pure channeling of totally new knowledge.
Yeah,
A
beautiful.
knowledge which never existed in this world. And this in today's world of artificial intelligence. The most hotly debated question around the world is, will machines enslave human one day? And the answer lies in Aham Brahmasmi. We have the capability to channel the unknown, which machines can never have. You have to explore this potential of human, to channel the unknown. That's how you will be the masters of machine.
Yeah, really great. I've been enjoying, all the messages to this point, and I'll actually be speaking later in the webinar, and I keep bringing to what I'm going to speak about based on what I'm getting from the speakers prior to.
I'm loving it. Yes.
And
Wonderful
my topic
approach.
is a skeptic's journey. A skeptic's journey.
Wonderful. It's great to be skeptic.
So thank you for bringing another piece to the puzzle for me, and I've just really enjoyed being with all of you.
Thank you so much, Kim, for sharing all that. And thank you, Shivo, sir, so much. That was an amazing journey that we had, especially if you shared your powerful journey. That was awesome. Thank you so much. So over to Nupurji now.